Hello everyone, my name is Abby Bliss White and welcome to my channel. Today I am so excited because we're going to be doing a full review on the reformulated Chantecaille Future Skin Foundation. I was so excited about this launch that I went out and bought this, and then I came home from a trip and I had the cutest little PR package waiting for me with two other shades. So I'm excited to share all three shades that I have. I have previously done a video on this foundation, but now I can give you a little bit more information. I have the new brush that came along with the PR package, couple other shades to share with you, and I have been wearing this foundation non-stop since I picked it up. So I'm going to give you kind of the lowdown on my thoughts on this reformulation, as well as give you a wear test today. So if you are interested in seeing how the new formulation of the Chantecaille Future Skin Foundation wears on my more dry, mature skin, then let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I am a little bit excited because I have two of the new shades of the reformulated Chantecaille Future Skin, and I just have to show you how freaking adorable this little package is here. Now, if you have been watching my channel, you know that I was a little bit excited about the reformulation of the Future Skin. I have used this for decades, like literally. I remember when this launched. I know I'm aging myself, but I saved up my pennies and I purchased this. I was living in Chicago at the time. That's where I graduated college. We're going back a long time, but I did purchase this, and then I just got home from a trip, and lo and behold, this adorable PR package from Chantecaille was waiting for me, and it has two of the brand new shades. So after I had filmed my previous video, many of you told me that macadamia was going to be my exact shade. The place where I had originally got matched did not happen to have that tester, so we ended up with ivory. But if you are my skin twin, today we are going to be swatching not only ivory, but we're going to be swatching shell and macadamia. So I'm a little bit excited because we have three shades. These are all going to work for my skin tone. If you are new to my channel, I consider myself to have light to medium skin with a slight warm undertone and a cool overtone. So for reference, like my perfect foundation shade from Chanel is BR 22 or 32. Those beige rose tend to work really well within the Chanel land. Now within Chantecaille, as far as Future Skin, I had it in alabaster, which was a little bit lighter for my skin tone, but it made my skin look good. I've also been matched to ivory as well as vanilla. So those were the ones that I have in my collection. But I was so excited that they expanded the shade range, especially for those of us that found the Future Skin to be a bit too maybe even peachy or kind of yellowy undertone. They now have come out with some shades with some cooler kind of neutral rose undertones as well as some golden undertones. So before we swatch, let me give you a little information about the reformulation. This now comes in a sustainable glass jar along with an aluminum cap. In the past, this is the old version, it was a plastic jar here. This is $95 for 1 fluid ounce. The new microplastic free gel formulation is boosted with even more powerful botanical skincare. With a 58% water base and a plant-based retinol alternative, soothing chaga mushroom, and hydrating botanicals, it delivers the same weightless, natural coverage you love, but now with a smoother, skin-enhancing finish and a wider shade range. And I have been playing and wearing the new Future Skin formulation, and I have some thoughts. So when I went in to get matched, she had put me in ivory. So I'm going to swatch all 3 colors, but I just want to show you the beautiful packaging. Got the little Chantecaille logo, nice glass jar here. And I'm excited because I have the brush as well to share with you, because you can apply this with your fingertips or a brush. Okay, here is a swatch of the 3 different shades I have. This first one over here is Shell, and Shell is described as light with warm golden undertones. Next to it, I have Ivory, and Ivory is described as light with balanced neutral undertones. And then we have Macadamia over here, which is medium light with cool, soft rose undertones. And then for reference, I pulled out my vanilla. This is not the new version of vanilla, but I just wanted to kind of show you the vanilla shade here, which was going to also be described as medium light with more balanced neutral undertones here. So the first shade over here is Shell. Next to that is Ivory, Macadamia, and then we've got Vanilla. So I initially was matched to Ivory, but as I mentioned, they didn't have the tester of Macadamia, which I was curious about. I did try on Petal when I was in the store, and Petal is described as light with the cool rose undertone, slightly neutral, but it actually pulled very pink on my skin, and that's why we went with Ivory. But as you can see right here, this is Macadamia. I'm a little bit excited because you can tell this is a little bit neutral here, and at first I thought that might be too dark, but one of my skin twins, Michelle, was like, you have to go get Macadamia. She's like, I know Ivory works, but Macadamia looks a little bit dark, but it is perfect for our skin tone. So what I am going to do is I'm actually going to swipe each of these on my cheek so you can see them in action. But I did wear Macadamia yesterday, and I have to say I absolutely love it. She is right. It is kind of even just melding into my hand. But the beauty of the formula of the Future Skin is that it is a sheer light coverage foundation, and honestly, I can make any of these shades work for me. For example, Alabaster is considered fair, so I found that it was a little bit too light for my skin, but if I wanted to brighten up my skin, I would would mix different colors because I wanted a little bit more brightness in the mid area of my cheeks, a little bit warmer on the outside. So there is definitely some flexibility within the formula, but I do understand that this is also an expensive foundation, and that's why I'm so excited that they actually widened the shade range, because I did find that I never had like a perfect match. It always worked better when I mixed, and again, these are not a cheap foundation. I'm going to swatch each one right on the side of my skin. I'm starting with Ivory, and Ivory is light with more balanced neutral undertones. And then we've got Macadamia, which is described as medium light with soft rose cool undertone. And then for reference, I am going to swatch the vanilla next to Shell just so you can see. So the first one is Ivory, kind of melted right into the skin. The second one is Macadamia. Then the third is Shell. And then we've got Vanilla. Okay, so Ivory does kind of meld right into my skin, but Macadamia, I wore this the other day, and this one really does kind of just work perfectly on my skin tone. So thank you, Michelle. I'm going to take a little bit with their new brush, which I'm so excited about. And here's Macadamia right here. If you are interested in seeing what Ivory looks like, I have just done a video, like a full face of Chantecaille using this because I was so excited. And I'm just going to place a little bit of Macadamia right down the middle of my face. Now, if you did go out and buy Ivory, because that's what I was initially matched to, it does totally meld in and work with our skin, but I do like having that kind of slight cool rose undertone on my skin. I just find that it does give my skin a little bit of life. So we're going right down the middle here with that Macadamia, because I did feel like the Ivory was just a teeny bit light, but we are going to use that underneath my eyes. I love Future Skin as my concealer. Okay, I absolutely love the way Future Skin feels on my skin. It is gel-based, water-based, and it's just so hydrating. It has like kind of a cooling effect on the skin. Now, what I'm going to do is just take a teeny bit of my Ivory, which is a slight bit lighter. I'm actually going to put that as my concealer underneath my eyes. That's another reason I love this formula is this works so good as your concealer. You can kind of just put that up there slightly lighter here, and I'm just taking a little concealer brush now. I already put on my eyeballs for the sake of time here, since we are focusing on this reformulated Future Skin. And again, I have been wearing this non-stop since I picked this up in the shade Ivory. Okay, so this is Macadamia with just a little bit of Ivory used as concealer on my face, and I am going to tell you, yep, I am loving Macadamia. I do feel like that is a really good match. I felt like Ivory was a hair light, but it will be kind of my perfect winter shade. So I'm so excited because I had a good feeling that Macadamia would be the right shade for my skin. And the beauty of this, again, these are a sheer coverage foundation. I personally do think they have a smidge, just like a smidge more coverage than the original version. That is just my personal thoughts from playing with them. I also find that it does still have that glowy, hydrating formula that the other one had, but sometimes I found that it looked a little dewy, and I'm finding that once this sort of meshes in my skin, it is just like, again, a smidge less dewy, just gives you such a healthy glow. And the beauty of this formula is that you could build upon build and not look like a cake face. That's what I always loved about it. So when I first bought my original, way back in the day, Future Skin Foundation, I was like, oh my gosh, this has like 0 coverage. And I'm laughing at myself because I back then had young skin. I probably didn't need a lot of coverage, but now that I'm an older woman, I do find that less is more, meaning that the sheerer the coverage, I find that it evens out my skin tone, but it makes me look a little more radiant and youthful. I find that if I wear heavier coverage foundations, I feel like it is aging me. So you can always add a little more, build up this formula, or add in some concealer. But I personally love the way that this feels on my skin. I love the way that this wears throughout the day. I am going to add a little bit of color to my face. We'll do a little bit of powder, but I kind of want you to be able to see how this wears throughout the day. I have been obsessed with using this little combo of Thrill, the new Cheek Gelée color, and then Euphoric. I'm just really in love with this combo. It's so pretty. Euphoric is basically kind of like what I used to do with Lively and Happy. I would mix the two of those for my perfect shade. That was what a Chantecaille makeup artist told me would be my perfect shade. Had used that, and I feel like he created this just for me, for many, I'm sure. But Thrill is this beautiful terracotta shade, which I think is gorgeous on its own. I've been kind of using it to warm up the skin overall, kind of like a bronzer, but it is a blush color. So I will use this. That's the color right there of Thrill, using their new brush, which I love. This is the Blend and Smooth brush. And I not only use it for the foundation, but now I'm going to use it for the blush gel. So I'm kind of going to bring this on my cheeks up here, up into my forehead here, just giving myself a little bit of terracotta warmth on the skin. Isn't that so pretty? I just find that Thrill is, if you just want like that basic, a little bit of warmth, a little bit of radiance on the skin, to use that. But then I come into Euphoric, which is going to be a little bit punchier and brighter. And we're going to pop that kind of right on the apples of my cheeks. Okay, here is what macadamia looks like. Put a little bit of Thrill and Euphoric on the cheeks. I will powder down just a teeny bit, but I want you to see what this looks like so far. On my eyes, I am wearing, which one is this? The Jasmine Eye Duet. I have Earth eyeliner on, and then of course my Chantecaille Faux Cils Longest Lash Mascara. And then I'm going to quickly put on a little bit of Love Gloss here. I'll just do a little gloss on the lips. And then here's a close-up of the foundation. Okay, so in general, I'm not a big powder girl, but I do like to set my future skin with just a real light brush of the compact makeup. So I am going to do that for the purpose of this review, is just take just a little bit, because many of you might powder down your foundation, and this is a kind of slightly dewy, glowy foundation. And what I'm doing is I'm just going to come in, just taking a little bit of this. I have this in the shade Pesh, and I am literally taking the lightest amount, and we are going to just set everything here. And I don't want to take away too much, but I do want to just kind of show you how this wears throughout the day. Okay, so we just toned it down. I'm just gonna keep my face like this. I will be taking a walk in just a bit. It is a warm day here. It's gonna get up to 87. So we'll get a little bit of that heat going on. But so far I have to tell you, I just love the finish of this. It feels like nothing on my skin. It feels nourishing. That's how I've always felt about the Chantecaille Future Skin. It was that it was makeup that was good for my skin, that it had skincare benefits in it. I will tell you that I do have fussy skin, and I have not had any issues with the reformulation. I took it with me on a trip, and actually my kids were telling me that my skin looked good, so that was sort of fun. They said that my skin looked very healthy. I got to see both of my kiddos in LA this past weekend, and so this was the foundation that I took with me down there as well. So what I'm going to do is go about my business. I will do 2 check-ins for you. I will do sort of a midday check-in as well as an end of the day check-in to let you know how this wears on my more dry, mature skin. But yep, I'm already a fan. I'm not upset at the reformulation. I haven't had any issues. I feel like they improved the formula. I feel like there is a smidge more coverage as well as a little bit less dewy, or it tends to wear that way on my particular skin. So that's my thoughts so far. I will be back with a check-in in a bit. Okay, I am back doing my first check-in. I have now had this foundation on for 5 hours. I have been out in the elements. I took a walk and it was close to 80 degrees. It's supposed to get up to 87, but it's warm here, and this is what it looks like after 5 hours on my skin. And I feel like it looks about the same as when I first put it on. It looks almost a little better now, but that's how I kind of feel about makeup in general. I like a little bit more of a lived-in makeup look. So when I first put on makeup, I sometimes worry it's a little makeup-y. I tend to try to wear a little bit more natural looking makeup. And then as the foundation wears throughout the day, I just feel like it meshes in with your skin and becomes one with the skin and looks better. I will tell you, as far as the shade, I definitely think that macadamia works great. I feel like this just blended into my skin. When you first put it on, it looks almost a little bit darker. And I do know that the ivory just completely melts in, but I like the macadamia with that kind of soft, cool rose undertone. I just think it works so well with my particular complexion. Okay, so that is my first check-in. I will be back with the kind of end of day check-in so we can see how this looks at the end of the day. Okay, I'm doing my final check-in, and yes, I have been outside once again, so I'm literally cooling off because it's a very warm day here. So if I have a little extra glisten on the face, that is part of it, is It's actually warm out. But I have now had this foundation on for 9, almost going on 10 hours. And I just thought I would pop on, let you see what it looks like. Again, I'm almost still kind of, you know, the sweat is still sort of coming out. So I see a little bit of glisten here and there. Overall, I just have to say it looks like skin, but I do feel like it has blurred my imperfections. It feels super hydrating and plumping, and I just feel like it doesn't feel like makeup. So I don't know about you all, but when it is hot out, I don't like the feel of like a bunch of makeup on my face. Of course I need some, but it just feels really awesome. So I really love the gel-based Future Skin foundation. I love the cheek gelaze, just kind of that sort of fresh, radiant look, no makeup look. So in conclusion, despite looking a little glowy, a little tired because it's the end of the day, so I feel like they not only improved the packaging and such, but the formula has not irritated my skin. I will admit I was a little bit worried when it said it had a retinol alternative. My skin does not really like retinol. Again, it's a little bit fussy, so I was like, ooh, this could be a deal killer. And I was glad I had some backups in the old formulation, but I'm thrilled that they expanded the shade range. That was always the tricky part, and I really love macadamia, especially as it wore on the skin. Like when I first put it on, I thought it was a hint dark, and then as it kind of laid down on the skin, I felt like it matched perfectly. So I'm beyond thrilled with that, and I'm hearing from others that they're finally getting a match that works for them. So that is super exciting, especially because this is an expensive foundation. You really want to love it. As far as the new Blend and Smooth brush, this is a soft vegan brush. I do love the angle. I do love the fact that this is going to work for powder, for liquid, for creams. So I do really like that. Do I think that you need to purchase this along with the foundation? You don't. I love my Heavenly Complexion brush from IT Cosmetics. I do really like this. It is super soft, but just wanted to give you a little heads up that it's not like something that you have to pick up with the foundation. So I'm thrilled to have it, but I often get sucked into buying the brushes along with things, and I would just tell you that yes, this is a nice soft vegan brush, but if you have something similar, you can definitely just go with that. But if you are a fan of the original Future Skin, I truly think the difference, at least for me and on my more dry, mature skin, is I feel like it's got smidge more coverage. I feel like it's a little less dewy than the old version, but I say that in a good way. I feel like this might work for, you know, it works for all skin tones in general. That is what it's described for, but I think it might even work for my oily skinned girls who already get that nice dew. But I know a lot of people who do have oily skin who absolutely love this because it's oil free. It's a gel based foundation. This is basically supposed to be your no makeup kind of sheer coverage. It's just supposed to give you that kind of radiant, nice little healthy glow. I think it achieves that, and again, it just has not irritated my skin. In fact, I actually feel like this is the kind of makeup that at the end of the day, it feels like good for my skin. There's some makeups where I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to wash my face because I just feel makeup-y. This does not at all. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back with another one soon.